Hi team, Jeremy Britton, 24-hour wealth coach. When I'm working with clients, what I tell them is there's only three ways to get rich: direct shares, direct property, and direct business. There's about 9 million ways to get poor, so you've got to be aware of those as well. And of course, as I'm coaching my clients, I've also got to work on myself. No one likes to have a fat personal trainer. So every now and then I will actually talk to life coach, business coach, financial planner, wealth coach, whatever I need to do to move myself to the next level. Now, I called on a business coach one day. This is an interesting story. And he came into my business and had a look at it, and he said, I can tell exactly what kind of man you are because of the way you run your business. The business is just an extension of you. I went, that's interesting, that's interesting. And this business coach, and we won't mention his name, interestingly enough, he used to be a professional psychiatrist. That was his profession. So that led him to studying people, studying human behavior, and also finding out how the human behavior turns up in your business and how the business will fail or succeed based on the mindset of the person. So as we're talking about business and you know, I'm a kind of happy guy. And he says to me, look, I've actually got this test. It's on the internet. You can do this test. And he said, we just want to check how depressed you are. And I said, but I'm not depressed. And he said, oh, we'll just do this test. You know, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So I did this little test with the doctor, with a psychiatrist sitting by my side. And I got an 8 out of 10. And he said, well, if you were in the range of 5 to 7, then you'd be normal. If you were 4 and below, then we'd classify you as depressed. If you're below 3, then obviously you're definitely clinically depressed, and we would prescribe you some medication. But he said, you're above the normal range. I said, well, doctor, what does this mean? He said, you're too happy. And I said, can you possibly be too happy? He said, oh yeah, you're too happy, you're beyond the normal range. And I said, well, like if I was below 3, obviously you would give me some pills, you would medicate me. What do you do? Like if I'm depressed, you give me antidepressants. If I'm too happy, do you give me anti-happy pills? Or if it's an anti-happy pill, is it an anti-antidepressant, or do you just give me a depressant? Do you show me pictures of dead kittens or something like that? What are you going to do to fix me up? And he said, well, you've just got to be aware and be in touch with reality and that sort of stuff. And of course, you know, being a professional business coach and a professional doctor, he kind of looked like this. And that's okay, because he fit in with everybody else who was between the 5 and 7, but he didn't fit in with me. Now, after I had that meeting with young Dr. Andrew, things happened in my life. You know, maybe this is just God's practical joke, because I was too happy, you know. I was betrayed by my partner, I had a divorce, I had a settlement, she got all the money, I got the kids, I was betrayed by a business partner, lost my business, lost my house, I had loss of several loved ones, I had members of my own family walk out on me. Things kind of hit the fan all of a sudden. And obviously, you know, that's going to hurt. You know, that's going to hurt. And I was a little bit down. You know, I had a couple of days where I just couldn't get out of bed. I had a couple of days where I felt very, very depressed. And at the urging of other normal people, of course, I went to the doctor and said, hey, what do I do? Now, I saw one doctor and he gave me these. This is Valium, I think, diazepam or something like that. And I saw another doctor and he gave me these ones, Oxaza something or other. As you can hear by the rattles, I took one pill and it made me so crook I didn't want to take any more. There was another box of pills that I could have showed you, but I actually took one of those pills and I almost went into a complete overload state. It was like having 17 cups of coffee. I was so wired up and so shaking that I could barely move. I had to crawl to go to the bathroom. And I actually gave that box of pills back to that doctor. I wasn't very impressed at all. So there you go, human being. Occasionally the crap will hit the fan. But the medication isn't the answer to it. And the medication, yeah, I took one, it made me feel ill, I didn't take any more. I actually talked to a friend of mine and said, hey look, I had this horrible, horrible allergic reaction to this drug, and she went, oh, that's the one I'm on. Now I didn't know that so many people are actually taking antidepressants until you actually say to them, hey, I've just been prescribed some drugs. Then they feel it's okay, because everybody wants to look normal, right? No one wants to actually admit that they're on antidepressants to someone who's not. So if I carry around my little pill bottle, I can feel like I'm part of their club. But my friend said, yes, when her husband died, she was prescribed these antidepressants. She was hooked on them for 2 years, and if she stopped taking them, she got very, very ill. In the end, she was actually prescribed methadone so that she could get off of these antidepressants. Now, I don't know a whole lot about drugs, but I do know that methadone is the drug they give you when they're trying to wean you off heroin. So exactly how addictive are these antidepressants that we're prescribing to people? Her husband died. You know, I went through a boatload of stuff that would actually knock any normal person for 6. But it's only temporary, and drugs are not the answer. Now my friend, obviously, when her husband died, she needs a whole new circle of friends. She needs some supportive people around, and she can get that. All she has to do is reach out to the right people who can be empathetic instead of writing out a script. When all this stuff happened to me, I needed a lot of work, and I went to work on myself, because most of the people I knew didn't know how to handle it, didn't know how to handle me. They'd never been there, you know. So when I could eventually sit down in a straight, sober place with no drugs, with nothing in my system, and say, okay, now I've just lost all of these people, I've lost all of this stuff, I've lost all of this money, I've lost all of this stuff that I've had. Now that all that is gone, what's possible for me? Obviously, when I had my former partner, then I wouldn't find a new partner. Obviously, when I had that old house, I couldn't find a house that possibly could be different, better. I was comfortable, you know, I had my little comfort zone. Once the comfort zone is radically taken away from you, and you're completely uncomfortable, and you say, what else is there? What else is possible now that that's no longer possible? And possibility, is it possible to be too happy? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Stay off the drugs. I don't take Panadol, I don't use sunscreen, I don't use underarm deodorant. Nothing artificial goes into this body. Nothing that I don't want in this brain goes into this brain. And of course the stuff that comes back out, my body is now in much better shape when I'm pushing 40 than when I was 20. My brain is in a lot better shape now that I actually hang around with inspiring people. I read inspiring books, I listen to inspiring music, I watch great videos, rather than all the other crap that I used to put into myself. You can't feed an athlete McDonald's and expect them to be a world breaker. And you can't put a whole bunch of stuff into your head and expect that it's not going to come out in your heart, in your attitude, in your mouth, and in your outcomes in life. Maybe if you're on antidepressants, try and get off them. Try some natural alternatives. Try some healthy food. Plenty of stuff you can talk to your naturopath about. If you're addicted to the soap opera, seek help for that. All the drama that's on TV, the news, the CSI and the crime scene, and all that negative, depressing stuff that's going into your head, it is going to have an outcome. Even if your life doesn't look completely miserable because you're normal, imagine what's possible for you. Imagine if you got rid of the McDonald's, if you got rid of the drugs, if you got rid of the mind viruses that are going into your head every day through the TV, through the media. Imagine what could be possible for you if you were just super healthy, mind, body and soul. Imagine what you could accomplish. All of the things that you want in life, you don't already have. Otherwise you wouldn't want them, you'd just be appreciating what you've got. Everything that you want is located right outside of your comfort zone. You need to step outside of your comfort zone so you can go and get those things. They're in somebody else's comfort zone. Find somebody else who's got those things and talk to them. Hang out with them. Keep badgering them. Phone them. Email them. Find them on Facebook. Annoy these people until they give you the time of day, until they just give you that one little tip that will actually change your life. All you need to do is change direction by 1 degree, and the further you go, the greater gap you'll leave between what you would have been and what you now could possibly be. Take care.